Okay. All right, I think that we are good to go and live now. How is everybody doing tonight? Love Island, we had another recoupling. We had two new women show up at the end. I honestly didn't even catch their names. That's how late it was. And a little bit of behind the scenes drama was brought to my attention. So first, let's go over the behind the scenes drama. So as many of you may have noticed, Noah just vanished. Noah is no longer on Love Island. He was whisked away in the middle of the night and was never mentioned. So the general story, I don't know all the details, is that some of his film career popped up online, and as a result, he's no longer on the show. So we don't know if he was kicked off the show, if he willingly left the show. We don't even know if his film career is related to what happened. But all we know right now is he's no longer on Love Island. It was not mentioned, and we're moving on. Honestly, not that big of a deal in my eyes. He likely wasn't going to get picked today. He didn't really have that great of a connection with anyone, and he overall was giving me a creeper vibe. So, not too worried about his departure. Just think that it's weird just the way he was just erased. All right, let's get back to that recoupling. So last night we got hit with our cliffhanger, and I had predicted that all of our main couples were just going to stay the same, and sure enough, they did. In my opinion, I don't know how Sally can have as much trust in Johnny as she does, but they're together. Johnny even slipped in an "I love you" today. I don't know if anybody else caught that. I don't even know if Johnny and Sally caught that. He just blurted it out, and they both did say that they're falling in love with each other. But how long does that last? What happens when they get on the outside and they start having people recognize them? They have a little bit of celebrity, getting lots of extra attention. That is 2 days of Johnny getting extra attention on Casa Amor, and he was just making out with Mercedes as much as he possibly could. So don't know what's going to happen there. Sally is trying to repair everything, but I'm just not buying it at this point, and just waiting for Johnny to make another mistake. Laurel and Carrington, we saw Laurel humming and hawing over Calvin or Carrington, but seems pretty clear that she is very full in on Carrington. There wasn't even mention today of Laurel and Calvin, and I found that very interesting. We were totally led to believe she's deciding between these two, but I just really got the vibe that from everything we saw on Sunday night that Laurel was sticking with Carrington, and sure enough, she did, and they seem to be right back in that same position that they were before. Caleb and Justine, we saw them couple back up on Sunday night. They really, as a couple, started diving a little deeper into what's going to happen outside of Love Island. They seem the most committed to me out of every couple, and now are trying to figure out what's going to happen for them next. Our fourth couple, that would be Kirsten and Bennett. Very new couple. We don't know what's going on there. Still getting to know each other. Always the risk of new girls coming in, and without having anything firm for Bennett, he may very well just go and start getting to know those women as well. And Kirsten, even though she picked Bennett, it could end just as fast. Lastly, we had Moira, and she was really sweating over Calvin and Conor. I think deep down inside, she wanted to keep Conor. She wanted Conor there. She wanted to explore something there. But ultimately, Conor had decided, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but he decided he wanted to try things out with Mackenzie and see if he could figure out to make it work with Mackenzie and Gus. Really, I just think that he knows that in real life, Mackenzie owns a bidet, and that is something that he needs in his life and doesn't currently have in his apartment. I think that is the only logical explanation that I can come up with for why Conor is crawling back to Mackenzie now after everything that went down on Love Island. So that leaves Benny. Benny goes home. You know, he was really only chatting it up with Selly, so he put all his eggs in the Selly basket. So he only gets a couple days on Love Island, and he is gone. So yeah. Two new girls come in. As I said, we had a little bit of a striptease challenge, and I gotta say, there were two standouts for me. One for the men and one for the ladies. To me, Justine, she was the best. She was the best lady. You know, she got out there, put on a show, and then when it came down to the end, she had the showstopper in her back pocket. And on the men's side, well, we had a master of the pole, and I don't think many of us were thinking it was going to be Carrington, but it was. I was even saying to my wife, right as he was walking out, I really hope one of the guys is amazing on the pole. You know, he wasn't amazing on the pole, but definitely had the best little pole trick that we saw. He just went for it. He was really grinded on all the ladies, and I think they quite enjoyed it. So that was kind of fun, but overall a pretty silly game, and definitely not as mean as our sucker punch competition from Friday, where basically Love Island just tried to see what relationships they could potentially go and sabotage. I think that wraps up about everything I wanted to talk about for tonight's episode of Love Island. So tomorrow night we've got the two new women coming into the villa. They're definitely going to shake things up. I can definitely see Calvin and Bennett definitely exploring things with the new ladies. Even we got a little shot of Selly not looking very impressed with what was happening with the new ladies and Johnny in the striptease. So we could go back to more Johnny and Selly drama, which you know, I'm not against at this point. I'm definitely on Selly's side of things, like rooting for Selly, I mean, but ultimately I don't know if I really want to see her with Johnny anymore, you know. Casa Amor really changed my opinion of him. You know, like that Casa Amor experience, when there was two couples that were pretty close, and each man in those couples behaved extremely differently. We saw Caleb, you know, he said, no, I think I got a good thing with Justine. I want to keep that good thing going. And then we have Johnny, who just said, I'm just going to make out with this lady because she said she wanted to make out with me. It's only polite, right? Yeah, not buying it. And just I don't have any trust for Johnny, so I don't know how Selly can. So yeah, that's it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night. So as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, we will see you later. 8 there. Oh, I'm still streaming.